Holy balls, everybody. We're back with another episode of World 1-1 Podcast. Before we dig into the meat and taters, as per usual, you can and should find us at our home at world11.podbean.com, all spelled out, all one word. You can also find the audio versions of the show, all the other fun places you catch podcasts like Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music and iHeartRadio and Spotify, and I'm sure there's some others I don't remember anymore. Of course, you could, if you want to inject us directly into your eye sockets, you can pick us up on YouTube if you search for World 1-1 Podcast, and then of course make sure that you hit up and follow us on our Twitch channel as well. That's twitch.tv/World 1-1 Podcast, all spelled out, all one word. Especially make sure you hit up the Twitch channel since we've got the awesome giveaway going on right now. We're on the road to 200 followers, and when we get there, we're giving away that free copy of Blasphemous Collector's Edition on Switch from Limited Run Games, one of only 2,000 printed worldwide, sold out in under 13 minutes, and one of them can be yours for free. All you got to do is come hang out with us on Twitch. That's not a bad deal. So, with all the bullshit out of the way, I am, as always, your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder. Joining me this week is my partner in crime, Josh the LeGrew.
Hello.
And special guest this week, joining us from Turtle Blaze, one of the minds behind Kunai, Bram.
Hey.
So we've got a special deep dive this week that we asked Bram to join us for because he's got some, we'll call it, unfortunate firsthand experience on the subject matter. But it brought us together. I'm not horribly upset. And honestly, it's what brought Kunai to light for me is, oh, that's a thing I'd like. Because honestly, other than that, it had just gone under my radar. But that's all in the back half of the show this week. First half, let's jump right in with, oh my God, video games. LeGrew, the fuck have you been playing?
Still ticking away on Jedi Fallen Order. I know you're going to laugh because I am not good at
story mode and finish it.
I am not good at this game. I am not good at the Souls-like games. I cannot play this game. I don't know why. I don't know why. And so I just kind of played it for a while and I just stopped. And then I took a little break. So I'm taking a little break. So I played a Hellblade because of our yeah, I know. I had to finish it. I did finish it.
Yes.
So
was it your first time finishing?
This is my first time finishing the whole game.
Ooh.
And I really like it. So
what did you think of the ending?
I thought it was really good, actually. So,
I see an Eddie joining us, maybe.
Yeah, Eddie's
he's kind of there. Is he?
He's kind of here. I think
Eddie!
By accident.
Yeah.
Are you actually coming in on this, or am I muting you? What are you doing?
I am at work. I was trying to figure out what was the call. Is that Adam?
No, that's Bram from Turtle Blaze.
No, you're done, Eddie. We're done.
Hang up the phone, Eddie. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
He just didn't know what was going on. That's okay.
Right, my phone was going off, and I was trying to figure out, like, who's calling me? And then it was like, what the
this is our life.
Yeah.
This is our life. I'll catch you later, Eddie.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right. Love Eddie.
There is no scripting for this shit.
No, I love Eddie, but yeah, he was done.
But no, what did you think of the ending on Hellblade? I'm curious now.
I really liked it. I liked the ending. I liked the idea. I liked the concept. It was kind of, I think they could have rounded it out a little better, but I liked the whole thing about it. And as a person who suffered myself, like I said last episode, I suffer from mental illness myself, that I thought that was a very good representation of what, somebody goes through. Yeah. So at least it gives people an idea, of what you go through on a kind of a daily basis.
Yeah.
At least the people who play it can take the headphones off and not really deal with that,
Right.
So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it, bringing it kind of to a light and kind of to where everyone can kind of get together and at least talk about it,
Right on.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm glad it sat well with you.
Yeah, it sat well. So I started Ori in the Will of the Wisps. Not played very much of it. I'm going to be honest. I downloaded it and I need to get back into it a little more. So I'm enjoying it. I like the changes they made. I've liked liked everything they made with that for the second iteration of it.
Yeah. And we'll obviously probably have a big, Origasm next week with Michael back on, and hopefully we can rank Kathleen as well. So, but right on. Bram, what have you been playing this week? What's on your radar? Are you still just kind of piddling back through Kunai because it's recently released, or have you, now that it's out, have you gotten to just kind of put it down and indulge in things that you've put to the side?
Yeah, right. I spent the last 2 years playing Kunai, so I kind of put it to the side. I recently at the day before Kunai was released, I had my first son. So I had 2 releases back to back, and then in the first few weeks, if you have a new kid, you can you have some time to play games, because the little guy is basically all day long he's sleeping here. I'm just laying back, and then I can play some games. But I need to have these games that you can easily pause or something.
Yep.
So I've actually been playing the Layton game on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been a huge Layton fan on the DS and 3DS. Played all of them. I bought all of them, played all of them, and now it was time for the version on the Switch, and I love it.
Good.
It's super quirky, but I love it. And you don't have to be super. You can pause it whenever you want when the baby needs to burp or whatever. So that's a big plus. And then when I had some more time to engage, I actually started playing the first Ori, which I'm really hyped that it's out on Switch, because I never had the chance to play it because I never owned an Xbox.
So good.
Yeah, and it's super good. And because of Kunai was a big inspiration for Kunai was Hollow Knight, and now I'm playing the first Ori, and now I see how the first Ori must have been a huge inspiration for Hollow Knight.
Right.
It's really fun to see how everything must have
strings together.
Yeah. So it's been the first Ori, and I'm a bit I'm an old-fashioned guy. I played the first Ori and Layton. Yeah. What can I say?
I played a couple of the Layton games on the original DS that I really liked, but it wasn't a series that grabbed me to the point where a new one came out and I had to have it. But it was just kind of one of those in passing, and it happened to fall into my lap things, and I was like, this is neat. I like this. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I love the art style of the cinematics with the sort of French themed, but it's super Japanese, and the music is fantastic. And I gotta love me some puzzles, and it's a game made for me. It feels like it's made for me, so that's nice.
Speaking of puzzle game, I'm just curious then. Given you have an interest in puzzle games, did you grow up big on like the old PC point and clicks?
Yes. Absolutely.
Did you? What was the favorite?
The favorite, I think it was the Monkey Island 2. Must have been I think Monkey Island 2 was the favorite. I remember playing that when I was super small on my dad's computer, and it was it felt like having it sounds maybe a bit ridiculous, but it felt like having a friend or something. Okay. I was playing this game, and it really warmed my heart with the music and the atmosphere, and everything just clicked. It was very nice. And then I played all of them, all the Monkey Island and Sam and Max and Full Throttle and the whole shebang. I really liked Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. I still think that they should make the movie.
Yeah.
I say you're in good company then. Josh and I grew up on a lot of the old point and clicks and still adore some of that. I've got some of my personal favorites like The Dig and Neverhood and the Journeyman Project, and
every time, Larry, every time you dig with the dig.
Poke the bear. Eventually you'll finish.
I know.
But no, and then I'm jazzed to get a hold of Myst on the Switch again. The Real Myst Masterpiece Edition is one that I actually never got around to, but I mean, I've played through most of the Myst series anyways, so but it'd be nice to kind of see it all prettied up again. So, but yeah.
They really started the hype train for Myst on with the T-shirts and everything, and the whole merchandising train has been
It's been pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, I say, well, LRG's been pumping it since they're doing the physical release on that as well. So the Falling Guy pin actually sold out on LRG already. So I'm hoping the linking book pin is still there when I go to order this Friday. But
I guess every game sells out on limited run, right?
sort of. They've got if it's one of their collector's editions, they only do usually like 2,000 of them. The standard editions, what they do is they do open pre-orders for a limited period of time and then just cut it off so that they know how many to print.
Right.
So, but yeah, they do one run and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
would kind of defeat the name if they wouldn't, right?
Right.
Exactly. That's what they do. Yeah.
But yeah.
Unlimited.
No kidding. There's been there's a couple of the short print companies though that have actually gone back and done second prints of some of their stuff though. That's how I ended up getting a hold of what the hell was the one that I missed? Oh, damn it.
Ikaruga or
No, Chris. That's what it was.
Chris. Yeah.
Chris. Because that was that Super Rare?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Super Rare did a second print of Gris, because I missed it the first time around, and I managed to catch the second. But, again, it's still, short prints, and that's it, and done. So, but yeah. I don't know. Anything else fun you've been playing?
Me?
Yeah.
Man, I really don't play a lot of new games. I mean, I play all the Nintendo games when they come out. I mean, that's all day one stuff for me. But currently, I'm working through my backlog, as I'm sure all of you guys.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
My backlog is somewhere right about there in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to play all the Metroidvanias that I can get my hands on, and I just recently, and because we're dealing with all these prices for Kunai, we have to set a price point, and now we're looking into when are we going to do sales and what percentage discount, blah blah blah. So I'm digging into all of that stuff, and then I got. I found this website that has like all the discounts for all the shops, and it's super conveniently displayed, and you can rank everything, and you can rank all the discounts of all the games on how much discount they get. And there I saw Iconoclasts being discounted on Switch, so I got that, started playing that.
Good
but
stuff.
I have a lot of these games that that you play like an hour and then you move on to the next thing.
Right.
And I wish I had more time, and so probably should extend my commute or something.
Move away so it's a longer drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right on. Well, in that case, I suppose that leaves me. I know I mentioned just briefly before we started here. I was actually just as we started, I was playing some more Kunai. I thought I was honestly getting close to the end and getting into the airship, just because it locks you in out of the rest of the map. I'm like, okay, we're in like a final area. No. Now I'm just trying to figure out where the hell the room is. I've seen the room. I've been in the room. I've got to remember where the hell the room is. But I'm adoring Kunai. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I would love one day to get a chance to ask one of the developers, what the inspiration for like that art style and that color palette is, and maybe one day that'll. Oh wait.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, I can't help myself in moments like that. So I am curious, where did some of the design choice in that, because that's a really distinct kind of mute color palette. What got you guys to settle on something like that? I mean, it's striking, but it's definitely odd.
Right. So we started 2 years ago on Kunai, and it's actually started out as a mobile game. It wasn't for Switch when we first started on it, and it was a full color 16-bit pixel art game where you were a monkey with robot arms. And it was a full 16-bit palette, all the colors that you could, but it looked like just a generic 16-bit pixel game, right? Like you have tons of.
Right.
So then we asked Richard, who is our artist, to come up with a style that was more unique than the generic pixel art look. And then after a few days, he came up with a black and white and red and blue. It was way more harsh than we have right now. And he changed the monkey into a robot. And it didn't have a tablet for a face yet. That came that came later.
I adore the tablet for a face. The expressiveness that it allows in the character is phenomenal.
Yeah. But he came with the black and white style, and it was super harsh, but it worked really well. And at that time we also pivoted from a mobile game to a Switch game. We just got our Switch dev kits. We wanted to make a demo for GDC, and then we also settled on the fact that we wanted to make a platform action Metroidvania style game. So we took a look at all the competition, and we wanted to make something that stood out. So the briefing to Richard basically was come up with an art style that stands out, and then he came with the black and white, but it was still pixel art, but it was black and white. And then we did the demo for GDC. After that, we worked some more on the demo for Gamescom, which was a few months later. And then we added a few more colors to the palette. So also we could change the palette a bit between scenes. Right. That's really when it struck, man, it's just like the Game Boy Color, or when you had the SNES, the Game Boy.
Yeah, the Super Game Boy,
SNES, where you could put Game Boy cartridges in.
Yeah.
Then it had some color, but not all.
Right. It was basically trying to fill in the blanks because there wasn't an instruction set for it. So.
Really? No, yeah. So that was not really the inspiration, but as soon as we hit that, it was like, okay, this is it. I mean, it's pixel art, but it stands out. So people are gonna instantly recognize it from miles away, and that's what we were looking for.
Nice. I can get behind that. Like I said, it's something that we've kind of talked about a little bit as Josh and I have been playing through it over the last few weeks. So it was just. That's one thing in particular that just really kind of jumps out at you, and I was curious, and I was glad to be able to get to inquire. So it's kind of neat to hear the story behind. That's always fun. But yeah, past Kunai, the only other thing I've really gotten a chance to play this week is not as much as I would like, but at least a decent amount of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I think we've probably got about 6 hours streamed up on the channel at the moment. I like it a lot. I really do. Some of the changes are still really hard for me to try and get my head around and figure out the new rhythm on, because the rhythm in the combat throws me. It doesn't feel quite natural, especially coming off of Blind Forest, where combat was so secondary and now it's very forefront. So I
agree with that.
Yeah. I'm also really hoping that there's going to be more slots for my shards, because I want more than just 3 shards equipped, damn it.
Right.
So there's so many good ones to play with. It's like, give me more. So, but in all, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm liking a lot of the new abilities. I really appreciate the addition of grapple to try and take some of the movement mechanics off of Bash. It simplifies some things. I think it simplified the first escape scene significantly.
Yes. Yep.
Made it much more palatable, which again, we'll talk about more next week, and hopefully Kathleen will be on, so that way, because I really want to hear her feedback on that, because I know she's got opinions on this subject.
Oh, of course she does. Yeah.
So, but that's most of all I've been spinning. It's just been a matter of trying to find some time with everything going on and getting content up. You know, we had 3 unboxings go up this week. Ori, the Lumines Ultimate Edition, and the Axiom Verge on Wii U from the Multiverse Edition from Limited Run. So all went up on the YouTube channel this past week, as well as you know, getting uploaded some of the Let's Play of Will o' the Wisps, and I'm going to see about alternating back in and trying to finish up Hellblade on stream as well. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. So unless anybody else has anything to drop in before we hit about the midpoint, last chance.
What do you guys think about the Command and Conquer remaster thing?
Oh, dude, you've got the right person on. Ask Josh. We've had this conversation.
I love it. I love Command and Conquer. I love physical releases of stuff, and I'm angry. I am a little angry that we don't have a physical disc, to be honest. I know that a lot of people don't have an optical drive anymore, and that's why they're doing it, but I still do. I have an old PC I play on that for a lot of these old games, like the Dig, like what Larry was talking about. And so I can see, you know, just give it to me on disc 2. I don't mind if you give me a code, but give me a disc 2, you know?
I mean, they're releasing like Sega CD stuff on
yeah,
Run.
That's what I'm saying. They're releasing Sega to CD, so what is the big problem with releasing a CD for the PC from back in the day? But
you know, that really raises the question: why hasn't GOG gotten into, like, I think there's a great market for GOG there to get into doing physical prints of old PC games, considering that they strip out the DRM and they make it so that it'll run on current OSs. It's like, take that, stick it on a disc, sell it to me.
Yeah, because I mean, GOG, like, you can do that with your own GOG account. Like,
yeah,
you can buy a game, burn it, and play it.
Just give me a nice printed copy with a pretty, you know, case and instruction manual, and I'll happily pay an extra, you know, $5 to $10 in materials and a couple bucks for shipping.
Yeah, I pay a lot more than that, but.
But they have a physical box that you can get, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything else is great. The physical box is great. The all the stuff that comes with it is awesome. I mean, I think that everything that comes with that is done right.
I know that the original Command and Conquer had the 2 discs, where the first disc was GDI and the second disc was null.
Yes.
That was so awesome. Oh, I'm going to play with the good guys or the bad guys.
Right.
That was awesome. Just too bad that it's not on Mac, as a lot of guys in my friends and colleagues. I mean, we play OpenRA at the office, but we all have Macs, and they somehow made it work on Mac on OpenRA, and now the high definition version is coming out, and it's PC only, which I don't like. But so it's either we're gonna all install Windows on our Macs, and then, but I guess we'll stick to OpenRA.
You know, everyone's going to install Windows on their Mac. Let's be real here.
No, I mean, I have a MacBook Pro. I use it a lot, and I'm using it right now, actually. And I get it. You know, just make it available. You know,
it shouldn't be so hard.
No, you're right.
But,
it shouldn't. I mean, I get long ago that, you know, Mac just was never the platform for PC games, but it's like, welcome to a different day and age. Let's get on the ball here.
Right.
I must say that for developing, everyone is PC only. So the technical guys that worked on Kunai, they all switched from Mac to PC just to have their Unity up and running way smoother than it would be on a Mac. And but Richard, the art guy, he stick to his Mac, of course. But the PC is still the thing. I mean, Kunai is also not available for Mac, so I really,
Right.
I should keep my mouth
What's going
closed.
on with that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So, all right. Well, in that case, we're about half hour deep, so here's a perfectly good place for us to take a quick break. Welcome back to the third half of the show. This week, we're going to deep dive onto a topic that's plagued the industry now for several years and apparently doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon, unfortunately. We're looking at review bombing as an issue across the industry. And we have with us this week someone who's experienced that firsthand very recently. Now, and again, we kind of talked a little bit about, there was a positive in there that, like I said, I wouldn't have come across Kunai had it not have happened in the article, cropped up on my feed and went, huh. Well, I started looking at it going, looks like a thing I would play. So, but it's, as an industry practice goes, it's an issue and there's not really a good way to fix it, as I understand it. But Bram, I know you've got some more firsthand experience, so if you want to go ahead and give everybody kind of a clue exactly where you fit in the puzzle here, a little bit of your role at Turtle Blaze and with Kunai, and then a little bit of the backdrop on what all happened with Kunai and its rather unique review bomb. Because what happened with you guys was not the norm either, as review bombing goes.
Oh, it's not. I wasn't even aware that review bombing was a thing until we got bombed.
Right.
So it was. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think on a Monday we got in the office, and then someone said, "Oh, Kunai got review bombed on Metacritic," and then we took a look at it, and it was. I think we had a user score of 1.5 or 1.4. And all these negative reviews, all these 0-point reviews. So Benjamin, our programmer, was the first guy who saw it, and he, immediately we thought, what can we do about this? So it's like a small panic, because the Metacritic rating for us is a very big deal. We worked so hard to get a decent rating.
Right.
It's the first time that you get graded in a way other than sales. Like you want to have good reviews, and then and we were aiming for 7.5 plus in the Metacritic scoring, and we got it. So we were super excited, and then we got bombed to a 1.5. But to answer your question, my role in the Turtle Blaze team is I do production and I help the guys with all creative processes. But I think that the most pure term for me would be the producer. So I make sure that everything gets released at some point, and I do whatever it takes to get stuff out the door. That's what I do. So I also manage contracts and the publisher and the music and all licensing stuff like that. So this was also something that was very interesting to see happen. And what struck us was how easy it is for one guy to just start 60 accounts on Metacritic and just review bomb a game.
Right.
It was ridiculous, and so the initial reaction was to get mad at Metacritic for this. So some colleagues of mine started drawing up an open letter to Metacritic. Basically, they weren't exactly calling names, but it was getting very close. And then we thought maybe we shouldn't play this too hostile and just take a look at, apparently this is a thing. So we need to address that it is a thing, and that something needs to be done about it, because it's not fair to the developers who put his blood, sweat, and tears into a game, and then some guy on a Sunday afternoon decides from a list of games. He didn't even know Kunai. He just went through the list on Metacritic, like, okay, this game has a few ratings and a high rating, so let's see how much it takes to get it down like below a 2.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He didn't even know Kunai.
Right.
And then he started posting online about what he did. Just so it was a cry for attention or something like that. And so the first thing that we thought, let's not give him any credits. So let's address the thing as a review bombing as a thing, and not the review bomber per se.
Right.
So and then we wrote this article for Gamasutra, which would be the most neutral place to write something about this, and hopefully it would get picked up by a Metacritic, because they were not very responsive to our emails regarding this issue.
Okay.
So I think we had a 1.5 for a whole week. And then we rewrote the article. It went up, and then some stuff started to happen. And after a few days, Metacritic did some wiping of the negative reviews. But there's still some negativity left there that they haven't removed. But I mean, we're back to a solid. I think it's a 7.5 or something. So that's fine. But that's what we did. So we tried not to attack Metacritic as a business, and not give the bomber credit. So that was our. But I wasn't even aware that it was a thing.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's very much been a thing. Unfortunately, it's just, what happened with you guys is a much more unique version of it.
Yes.
Because like you saw in the article, I'm assuming you probably saw the same article I did at some point, but the typical is that a game tends to get review bombed by a mass number of people all in concert together, and usually for a point, namely over like bad business practice, crappy DLC practices being shoehorned into what would have otherwise actually been a complete game that just got piecemealed out instead, and turned into a giant shit show, for lack of a better term. And that's been around for a while throughout the industry, and not even our industry. You see some of that stuff happen with products on Amazon and things like that sometimes too. Conversely, every once in a great while, you see the opposite happen with an Amazon product, just because it's absolutely goofy and the internet latches onto weird shit for whatever reason. But no, I mean, but to see a random, it's like, pick a name out of a list, and one person mastermind essentially the review bombing all by themselves was bizarre. Even from my perspective, where I've seen it happen to games over the years across the industry, seeing this, I'm like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah, it was different. That's for sure.
And we didn't expect it, because you would think from a website like Metacritic that they would have some basic stuff in order. I mean,
right.
you cannot review bombing on Steam is a lot harder, because Steam has these algorithms running that if more than X number of people leave a bad review, those reviews get flagged in some way. So you would think that a website like Metacritic would have something like if you open up an account, you have to verify it. You cannot use a Gmail, like the email address with the plus in it. You have to have real unique email addresses, stuff like that. It's basic stuff. And they did not even bother to do that. So what blew our mind was that it was possible for one guy to just create in an hour 60 accounts and start bombing away. And the other thing, if you get bullied by like fans, either in the positive or the negative, that's a whole different thing. And I also think that the positive bullying that you're saying, or the upvoting for no reason, that's also something that I really did not like. For instance, I know that a lot of people love Return of the King, but I don't think that it should be up there with The Godfather in the IMDb top 250, right?
Right,
so,
right.
And it was just a thing that the fans didn't think that the Lord of the Rings movies didn't get enough love or something. So they decided with let's start this movement and upvote this movie. Okay, yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But we were baffled that Metacritic would allow it so easily.
Right. Well, and part of me wonders too if on Metacritic's part, given the way that this particular instance went down, if it was just something that had never really occurred to them before. So
But it has happened before. There was this other this JRPG game. Benjamin linked about it in the article, and that's the first game that the same bomber bombed, and he did it months before he bombed Kunai, and it was in the exact same fashion. So it happened before, and Metacritic must have known about it, but apparently it doesn't happen so often that they want to spend time fixing those issues on their platform. Yeah, no, maybe it's not an issue. Well, not for them at least.
Right.
But we think it messes with their integrity as a platform. I mean,
exactly.
If it's so easy to manipulate the scores, or at least the user scores, then and this was a super what do you call it, blatant case of. I mean, it was super obvious that he managed to bomb us. But if you want to really hit a game, you don't need to put it down to 1.5. You just need to put in just enough reviews to take it down below 6 or something, and then you'd have the same result, that people are more hesitant to buy the game.
Sure.
Right.
I think if people see that our normal score is an 8 and the user score is 1.6, most people will think something's fishy here.
Exactly.
I don't think it affected our sales in any way, but if you so if you want to hit a game, okay, maybe I shouldn't give hints, but
I was just going to ask too, because that like I said, it makes me wonder: has there? It's going to sound a little weird, and I don't mean it to come off goofy like that, but has there been a positive bounce back for you guys as a result with the bits of publicity that did come out about what happened with the review bombing of Kunai?
Well, we had a lot of publicity and a lot of fan mail, guys reaching out, sending us emails, lots of retweets, lots of love. Our community on Discord grew some because of it, and people getting very vocal about they really did not like the way this guy behaved. In terms of sales, we don't know yet, because we don't have the numbers back yet. Not the full numbers. I can see some, but not everything. We have, so it's too early to tell. I don't think that it has affected it too much, but it hasn't been a negative influence as far as I can right now.
Not what he wanted anyway.
Right.
I mean,
well,
if that's what he wanted, I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, you don't know if that's what he wanted. You know,
he wanted attention. That's what he wanted. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Part of me almost wonders if there's more to it than that. I mean, I don't get me wrong. My automatic assumption is much the same as yours. Is here's a guy that's just poking the bear to poke the bear because he can, and there's nothing in his way to stop him from just being a dick. But by the same token, it also makes me wonder if, much like you guys, once it happened, trying to reach out to Metacritic and go, hey, this is a problem, help us fix it, and like you said, Metacritic didn't seem all that inclined to do anything until there was actual publicity about it, and then suddenly, their name's out there as not being all that helpful.
Yeah.
Right.
Which damages their credibility as an industry standard platform for their service. But it makes you wonder if whoever it is maybe saw that or has seen that previously and has maybe even struggled with that issue, trying to bring it to Metacritic, and had the same result that you guys did, which was, got a fat lot of nothing, and realized the only way that anything's going to happen is if you poke the bear. And again, I know I'm spitting a hypothetical here, but by the same token, somewhere I'm a big fan of giving somebody the benefit of the doubt that maybe there's more to it than just being a dick.
Right.
So
I think the consensus is that this guy is really a dick.
he probably is, but I mean, at the same time, again, it makes you wonder if somebody hasn't, looked at this for that very reason, and it's one of those things that you never know.
Yeah.
So, and it also makes me wonder now if we don't see more of it in a bizarre altruistic fashion of trying to get Metacritic to finally step up and actually do something to handle their business, essentially, which they are clearly not.
No.
So, but
I think that it has to happen a lot of more cases for them to start fixing it.
Right.
Right.
I'm kind of curious what was the turnaround time, because I know you said you guys initially reached out to Metacritic and got nothing back, and then nothing really seemed to move in terms of spinning the gears until the article started going up. What was about the turnaround time once the article went up from then to Metacritic actually going, oh shit, we've been called on the rug?
I'd have to look into the history on Slack or something to retrieve actual data points. I don't know for sure if it was around the same time that we put the article up that they started fixing it. But let's just say that their communication was
slow,
very slow.
Yeah.
So first we from Turtle Blaze we sent emails. Our publisher, the Arcade Crew, they sent emails from their side.
Mm-hmm.
And Benjamin sent, as a programmer, he sent a different email, and he actually got a reply that they would put someone on it.
Okay.
And then it was silent again. And then I'm not sure if he ever got an email, hey, we fixed it or something. I'd have to check into that. But they fixed it around the time that we put the article up, and it must be linked in some way. But I'm not sure if it was like a day or a couple of days.
Okay.
So maybe it was just a guy who got to Benjamin's email and thought, let me just fix it, and then I don't know.
Right. No, like I said, it makes me wonder how much of that is just their normal response time sucks, which again, I think is something that desperately needs to be addressed when something like this happens, because
Right.
those initial, day one, reviews matter so much to sales that it's like you can't be the industry standard for this and have that be okay to have that kind of a lag in response time.
Yeah.
From a first-person perspective, though, I'm curious if you have any thoughts or suggestions in terms of how to. I don't think it'll ever go away, but how to better mitigate the problem of review bombing across the industry. What are some steps that you'd like to see put in place that help prevent this kind of thing from happening, but also don't get in the way of the basic necessary functionality of a platform like Metacritic.
I think that you have, if you are a Metacritic or IMDb or any platform that allows users a voice, you should always listen to those users. So if they start bombing or upping a game or video or movie or whatever, it's a voice from the community. So you should listen to it. I think in our case, I think it hasn't happened enough yet for Metacritic to take steps to up their security on their website. I mean, it takes effort to better protect your platform against abuse.
Right.
But so I think that it has to happen a lot more times and give them more bad publicity as a platform for them to react and start implementing these security measures. But yeah, for the other type, where all communities are basically targeting your game and destroying it with a group, like it's what do you call it? Like on the playground.
Like a bullying.
Yeah, like bullying.
Yeah.
The mob mentality.
Yeah, and I think that as a platform, you have to be prepared for that kind of abuse and take counter measures, but also listen to the group that is bullying, because they're not bullying for no reason, or maybe they are, but it is coming from somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, this guy, he probably just needs a pat on the head, right? Just needs some loving.
Right.
He wouldn't be such a dick.
Right.
Or just needs his ass kicked.
Well, I've wondered about that. One of the other. He either needs the love or he needs his ass kicked. But I don't know.
He's either American or he's Polish, I think. So if he's American, you guys can drive over to his house
We can take care of him. Yeah.
Now see, this is what pops in my head. You guys have the ultimate ability to pull a turn the other cheek here on the subject of maybe somebody just needs some love. My vote is, if you can find out who the guy is, what you do is you send him a free code on the house for a free copy of Kunai and go, here, actually play it. Just
right.
It's that moment of great publicity of taking the high road, going, you know what, I know you picked us out of a list and you probably never touched the game, but you know what, you drew some attention to us. I'm not thrilled about the way you did it, but it's a thing that happened. Here's water under the bridge. Here's a copy of the game. Play it. I want to know what you actually think now. Put the guy to task if he's going to go out, on a review tirade. Put him to task and be like, I challenge you to actually review it now.
That's.
I'd be really curious to see what he comes out with.
Me too. That's a very good idea. I should definitely dropped it by the team. Yeah.
I would actually want to do that.
I would love to see it.
It would. It would be good.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
But yeah. But no, I'm a big fan of take the high road most days, and I think that would probably be one of the most unique ways to do it. So I can only fathom that if a much bigger than us outlet ever got a hold of it, that'd make for a great story. I would love to see the glowing publicity off of that shine on you guys. I think it would be fantastic. So
yeah,
but God knows that's never a move that somebody with the clout of something like EA or Activision would ever do. But it's a much different scale where I think it's the affordability of it is just on point. So, but I don't know. Weird thoughts that come out of my brain.
Yeah, that's a good one. Nice. We'll go and try. Yeah.
It
is a good idea.
Yeah. On top of that, I mean, depending, obviously there was a sequence of events that happened here. It almost makes me wonder if it's worth talking to the guy about. It's like, you have an ability to make a move, in one direction or another. We'd like to talk to you about making a move in a positive direction. And, it's like, let me help you take steps to get in somewhere into, online marketing where you can put that kind of skill to use. There's an ability to build a bridge for somebody there.
Yeah, just like with hackers, that they put them in software security.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We also thought about starting a business where if we can automate the review bombing process, we can automate it like downwards, but also upwards, and maybe games hire us, and then we can up bomb your game. I'd like
and then instantly there'll be an algorithm to stop that.
Right. So, but no, but before we wrap, any final thoughts on the subject?
I think it was a very interesting period. We learned a lot from it, that it was a thing, and I'm very glad that it was handled nicely, and I'm very glad that it wasn't a mob, that it was just one guy. I think that it's way harder if you are targeted by a mob of bullies, and then you'd have to give out a lot of Steam keys to the high road, right? So, but that is a good idea. We're gonna do that.
I'm legit. If this goes down, I want links. I want to see the fallout on this.
Yes.
This absolutely fascinates me now.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Nice. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh well, again, thank you for joining. I mean, I appreciate the understanding and the willingness to kind of shuffle times with us a little bit. So, before we wrap, though, chance to plug your shit. Anything you want to throw out there?
All right. So play Kunai. It's awesome. Make us rich. Yeah.
It is a good game. It is.
Yeah. What do you guys think? What is a plus and what do you think could be improved?
Personally, I actually love the game. I think it's well done. It's a good kind of action adventure Metroidvania almost. I wouldn't call it a pure Metroidvania for me. I think it's more of like it has a good story, which I love the story that this you're a tablet and you're fighting against another guy who's I just love it. I love the story. I really don't want to spoil too much of it, but for people.
So that was one thing that we were discussing, whether or not we should market it as a Metroidvania, because
it's almost like an action adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
And
So actually right now we're not even sure if it is biting us in the ass or if it's helping us, because when we were at the trade shows, it was like, Metroidvania, I play every Metroidvania that's out there, and we were like, we should definitely call it a Metroidvania.
Right.
But then you get all these guys that say, but it's not a super pure Metroidvania. Blah, blah.
No. Honestly, I think it's just a Metroidvania with a story, and the story is really, really good. I like the story. Hollow Knight is like that. I know people say, Hollow Knight. Eddie or Larry and I and Eddie and everybody on the show, we love Hollow Knight. So we get that vibe from this game, but we also get something new, and I think that's good, and it's needed, especially in the Metroidvania genre. Like you said, like everyone's been playing this game, playing Metroidvanias, so something new is good.
Yeah.
I love the aspect the story is first, kind of, and then the game comes next.
Right.
And I love the mechanics you guys have going on. They're simple yet easy to grasp, but yet difficult to master, And I do enjoy that. So I enjoy the game.
Awesome.
My pros and cons here. Overall, I enjoy the hell out of it. I love the vertical. I love the movement system with the kunai. one of my cons, honestly, is that I wish there was more of it. It feels like it's intended to be central, but there's not enough of it in there where it feels central.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, it feels balanced, but I wish there was more of it than there is.
Yes.
Solid Pro. Oh my God. The Zen Mountain rocket launcher boss is one of my favorite boss fights. God, it was fantastic. It was so much fun. It was not anything that I expected. It was so far out of left field, and I loved every little bit of that fight. That was awesome.
Did you die?
I think maybe once or twice.
Right, because we were discussing this week if we should make that boss fight easier.
Don't touch it.
No, I don't think so.
Leave that fight alone. The
think
only thing that I would critique on that fight is maybe shorten it by one phase.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like Layer was saying, I think that fight is central to the game. I also do believe that it gives you like a sense of purpose in that game.
Yeah.
So you're putting all on the line for that.
Yeah.
And in that fight, when you get done with that, you're like, okay, I got it.
Yeah, and it should feel like that.
Like an accomplishment.
But the Sensei should be that boss that everyone hates but loves.
Right. It's an accomplishment. When I beat that boss, I felt like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
give a thumbs up.
For me, it was just so clever in the way it was done. It wasn't what I was expecting, especially given the couple of boss fights preceding it felt, like what you expect out of a boss fight. And then the Zensai boss comes along and just turns that concept on its ear, and my jaw dropped. I'm like, that was awesome. Like, I loved that it was as much about platforming and climbing and scaling, especially with the kunai, as it was about just hitting the thing.
Yeah.
So, I would love to see more of that in there, because again, it's so much centered around movement and mobility, which is where I feel like kunai really shines, because it has that movement system with the kunai. I'd love to see more of that focus on the vertical shaft movement, with the kunai, the climbing, because the alternating shoulder buttons, just rapid fire, is so satisfying to sit there and do. It's like,
yeah. And
so,
I feel that it kind of felt that way. Like you guys were developing for that, and you thought, you know what, we're going all out, and then you just kind of backed it off a little bit. You're like, we want to make sure people like this, and I honestly get that, because I get where you're making this different type of movement and everything, and everybody's like, oh, well, yeah, we love it, but there's too much of it. And I think you guys could really lean into that and make a super fantastic sequel to this game eventually.
The only thing I would throw out as a point of reference to kind of look at for going forward maybe is Flint Hook. Flint Hook, is very much about that grapple and that swing movement, and it balances everything else combat wise with that so very well. And I think if a future kunai borrowed from that, I wouldn't be upset. So, but no, like I said, just solid fun all the way around. I love the goofy, quirky story. I think it does maybe kind of skirt the line of the genre of a Metroidvania. I think it comes closer to the core of the genre than Iconoclast, but I think it maybe sits about in that neighborhood.
Right.
So, I will say though, I got to throw out my personal critique here, my one solid con, and nothing says that it can't change in the future. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, say no more. But I don't have a physical copy on my shelf back there.
Yeah.
you spend any time listening to us, that's kind of one thing that we kind of adore, at least most of us. So
Yeah, just wait and see. Good
so
things to those who wait.
I mean, if if a pretty hard copy shows up in my mailbox, there's as always going to be a spectacular unboxing video that goes up on our channel. Not that anybody watches, but I still like to show the love for stuff that we love. So
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So let me ask you something. Did you play the time trial in the church?
I did a little bit. I didn't beat it, but I did play with it a few times. So, and I would love an extra couple seconds on there. It feels just a little snug for me. And it's something that I will probably go back to at some point.
I think that's the idea, Larry.
I know. So, and at some point I will probably go back to it, but right now I kind of want to get to see the actual end of it and finish out the story, and then load up a save file and go back there and actually get it.
We because we discussed doing a like a second game mode where it's just time trials.
Huh. I could definitely see an appeal in that, especially given the genre's propensity for speed running.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and there are people that love that. Yeah.
Actually, aside from that, something you may want to look at, maybe it's just an update piece, is sticking in a speed run mode where it essentially cuts out the dialogue, the story, and everything. You just throw the timer up. It's things like that honestly really help propel your game into that community, and pushing into that community is something that certainly never hurts sales wise.
We actually have a speedrunning channel in our Discord where we have very close connections to a couple of speedrunners who are doing professional speedruns. So we have also the first release available on Steam for them to do like the first original speedrun. But we're now doing some bug fixings that messes with the first times that they could put it in the first version. And actually, they're the ones who are also doing some quality assurance for our game.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's very cool. It's very cool to be so close to those guys.
Community.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So that being said, any of them submitting runs for GDQ? Do we get to see Kunai in an upcoming GDQ?
It's I think it's in the works.
Nice.
Yes.
Great.
I think they're working on it. Yeah.
I dig it. So, well, right on. Well, to that end, before we get any longer in the tooth than we normally are, I think we'll wrap here. Again, I want to say thank you so much to Bram for joining us. Thank you to my partner in crime, Josh, for hanging out and putting up with my shit on a week-to-week basis. And thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened. As always, if you enjoyed if you enjoyed any of this, make sure that you subject your friends to us. It's willingly or unwillingly. That's between you and whatever
your friend
relation. Yeah. It
Yep.
depends on how much you like them or don't like them.
Right.
So, but again, thank you so much. I had a wonderful time, and like you said, keep me posted. I would love to see how this plays out if you guys manage to get a hold of our review Unabomber. So
I will. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Night.
All right.
Peace.
Bye bye.